Welcome back to the 10 million trading challenge, where I'm showing you every single trade that I take this year on my journey to 10 million. Now, today was another fantastic day. We caught one trade today. It was my biggest day of 2026, which makes 3 days in a row where I had my biggest days consecutively. Today, I took one trade on MU for about 300% on a Friday. In this video, I'm going to show you the live trading session. I'm going to break down the entire trade. I'm going to show you the strategy, thought process, and my scaling behind the trade. And this way, you'll understand exactly how I trade. Now, let's break down the stats for the month. $291,000 this month, only about 20 trades taken this month so far, 85% win rate, almost a 93% daily win rate. And once again, this week is where my biggest results have came from. $37,000 on Tuesday, because of course, Monday, the market was closed. This was my biggest day of 2026. Then the very next day, $46,000 on the next day. Once again, my biggest day of 2026 again. And then today, only one trade for about $54,000, making this week's total about $138,000, which is absolutely fantastic. Now, with this being said, it's important to remember I've been trading for 7 years, so the results you do see did not come overnight, but it took years of work to get here. But the key is, what did I see on the trade? How much did I risk? And what was the reason that I was able to have these results? So let me go break down this trade. Okay, so coming into today, first thing we need to do is understand what my thought process was. Now, today, the best names were SNDK and MU. Now, the reason this was a good name was because we can see here, this was pre-market. I sent this out at 9:22. The market, of course, opens at 9:30, and I was looking for a break above in a previous day high retest on MU. This is because we had a flat top and we had some nice consolidation after a big move. So coming into today, let's wait for the first couple minutes, and out of all these names, let's see which one shows strength near key levels. Based on that, we'll take a trade. AMD and Nvidia started popping, and I was actually focused on AMD and Nvidia, but I actually ended up not getting a single entry. And once again, this is all in real time. Then I was looking for an MU reclaim back above this level, and if MU did come back up, right, I would be looking at the 400 calls for high of day. Unfortunately, on this first setup, we can actually see that MU rejected this level again, so no entry for the reclaim on this trade. But as we keep coming down, we then saw AMD trying to set up again, but it wasn't able to. And then at 9:54, I said I like MU reclaim 400 calls more than AMD. Let's see if we get an entry. This is the consolidation. I needed a candle closure above, and once again, I laid that out very, very clearly. Then here you can see I took the MU calls. This is going to be the 400 calls for high of day and continuation. You can see how nicely these calls ended up popping, and I explained how MU 403 was my first scale because I wasn't able to scale at high of day. This one pushed up extremely nicely. I only had about 40 contracts left on this trade, and then about $50,000 day, 20 contracts later on in the day, and then biggest day of 2026, over $58,000 at that specific point for MU. So this was just the breakdown of what I was looking at for this trade, but let's go look at the live session on exactly how the market was moving when this trade was setting up. All right, so here we are on the live session, and I want to walk you guys through exactly what I was looking at in real time. You can see that this reclaim of the previous day high is important. The reason this reclaim is important because we can see we got upper rejections, and this time what I want to see is a break above this. And once I see that break with the candlestick closure above this level, that means that this MU trade has room back up into all-time highs, right? And all-time highs is, of course, going to be over that 400 level. So what I'm waiting for here is simply just buyers to step in. That's what I need for executions for my actual entry. And as we can see here, buyers start stepping in slowly. And this is exactly what I'm waiting for. I need an impulsive candle, and I need this candle to essentially start closing above this candle right here. This point right here is where you can see this is where I entered the trade as buyers started stepping up on this candle. This is where I entered the trade, looking for continuation up into high of day and continuation. As we can see, we have this high of day level. We got high of day extremely quickly here. Now, when we were getting high of day, this is actually when I was typing in the chat that we were getting high of day, so I was not able to scale any out. And as you can see here, this one actually came back down, was not able to scale anything out there. However, as this trade kind of developed and we came back up, this was my first scales around this 403 level, because we can see buyers stepping in aggressively at this point. So this is where my first scale level was. And then as we continue up, you can see buyers then start stepping in very nicely and aggressively on this stock. And for myself now, all that we need to do is hold this down close candle. As long as this down close candle holds for a move back to the upside, I'm going to continue to hold this stock. And as we can see, we hold perfectly on this level, and that's going to be the key, showing that buyers are indeed stepping in. On the 5 minute, we can see that a little bit more clearly. And as we push to the upside, I'm simply just looking for that 410 level to hit, or a 411s, right? This is the exact level that buyers stepped in on, and this was a fantastic trade back to the upside. So this was the live session, but now let's go go over to the actual review. All right, so now that I've shown you the live session, let's break down the trade. Now here, it was a $54,000 trade. You can see the exact executions I had today as well. What did I see on MU? And of course, this is a trade right here, but it's very important to remember, how did I see this trade and how did I come up with the thesis? Well, let's go on the daily time frame and actually make out the thesis so you guys understand what I saw coming into today. For myself personally, we had the previous day high and we had the previous day low. Now we know that MU is pushing up to the upside very, very aggressively. And if we actually come down to the 1 hour time frame, we can see that this one has a very nice move to the upside, but what's happening? We're consolidating. What does that mean? It means that we are putting in a clear resistance at this previous day high level. So if we break above previous day high, once we break above previous day high, we have a very clear shot up into 403s and most importantly, all-time highs. And when you're coming into all-time highs and you have this much momentum on a name, you can have a really, really nice and big move to the upside. And that's what I wanted to capitalize on today. So with this being said, let's go over to a 1 minute time frame. And here we are opening up on the day. Now for myself, the thesis was a break above the previous day high, a retest and continuation. That's what I wanted to see on MU for my main thesis for a continuation back to the upside. But let's kind of see how the market actually ended up playing out. We can see that buyers did try to step up above this level, but sellers kept bringing them down. And so when sellers bring them down, this didn't just happen one time, but it happened twice. Now, all of a sudden I see that, okay, when we do end up eventually breaking above this level, we may not get that retest because buyers are trying to, but sellers keep bringing it down. So most likely we're going to get an impulsive move above this level. And this is where we can use the 84% rule. Now I have a full video on the 84% rule on my main channel, Scarface Trades, where I break down every single concept that I talk about and I trade on this channel. But what I was essentially looking for was the candle closure, like you guys saw earlier on in the video. Now this is where we got that candle closure. As this candle broke above this previous candle, so this 955 candle broke above this 954 candle, that's when I entered in looking for high of day and continuation. And as we can play out this trade, right, this trade actually had a really nice move back to the upside. And this was a fantastic trade that we were able to capitalize on by understanding a couple things. Number one, previous day high, that's where the liquidity is. Number two, this had a strong higher time frame trend. Number three, we had consolidation and a flat top, which means if we break above that, we were going to have nice continuation. And number four, our entry model, which was the break and retest. But because we kept rejecting this level, we just used the 84% rule at this level. And because of that, we were able to capture this absolutely fantastic trade. And once again, these trades are taken live every single day in the accelerator, where you can see MU3Cons, my biggest win since joining and learning in 2025. Once again, that was a fantastic trade by them. And this is all just from today. Insanity from 20K on December 1st went down to 13K by the beginning of the week. And since then, I've doubled my account. And once again, you can see MU about 75%. My biggest day so far, one contract MU. This is my second week trading so far, 1 loss and 5 wins. Very happy with the results and happy with this community because I would have never got this without this. Have a lovely weekend. And that was $144. Once again, taking that MU and AMD trade with us, and then the week ending up here. And this is a fantastic result. So if you did get value from this video, make sure to leave it a like. If you have any questions, put them in the comments down below. Make sure to watch out for Sunday because that's going to be the watch list for the next week. And that's going to be very important going into the next week, especially if you're a trader. Other than that, subscribe to the channel and I'll see you guys Sunday with a brand new video.